Hello, this is your friendly neighborhood Time+Tide team, Mr. Zach Blass and
Mr. Andrew McCutcheon.
We are outside Tudor. We've just seen Tudor. We've got some things to tell you about this brand. This has been, in a low-key way, a real exciting but consolidating year for the brand because they've managed to do all kinds of things across the board in terms of movements, in terms of certification, in terms of aesthetics, and in terms of models and collections.
Absolutely.
Look, it's very exciting for me as Mr. Resident Tiny Wrist because we finally have a new watch called the Black Bay 54, which, spoiler alert, 37 millimeters in diameter. So when you think of the original Submariner, worn on the wrist of Sean Connery in James Bond films, we now have a Submariner or a Black Bay that's closer to that original size and feel. So I've been jonesing for that for a very long time.
And you know who's with you?
Who?
David Beckham. So when you see this watch doing the rounds on Beckham's wrist, that's the 37 millimeter model. If you're wondering about the 54 relates to the year of Tudor's first dive watch, which was 1954.
A year after the Submariner.
There are other sizes too, Zach.
Sure. The 41 with a burgundy bezel, and it's outfitted on a very Jubilee-like bracelet. In just one of its configurations. You can also get it on the rivet bracelet or on the rubber strap that we saw with the Pelagos 39.
Yes, now this bracelet is what Tudor called the 5-link bracelet. It's sort of a mini Jubilee, and I kept getting in trouble in Tudor for calling it that. But the middle section of the bracelet is in this 5 Jubilee-style pieces, and it gives it a dressier look. On that note, dressier watches, we have the return of the Tudor Royal. Every time I see a blue Tudor Royal, I'm like, sleeper, sleeper. I didn't like it at first, and yet that notched bezel has really won me over. There are now 2 variations, and are you a high-calorie or low-calorie person as a rule?
I should say low, but probably high.
The temptations are too much. The high-calorie version is the chocolate. It's this stunning brown sunray dial with either a gold bezel and two-tone 5-link bracelet.
There you go.
Quite a mouthful. Or you can have variations, and it comes in all kinds of sizes. So the Royal is back. Now the low-calorie version, which is more, unfortunately, my regime because I'm old and I'm trying to keep everything tight, is the salmon dial, which is this really nice salmon dial Tudor Royal version. And that's all in steel, so no two-tone in that.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic to see the Royal continuing to grow. I mean, it is one of the most expansive collections, but the more sort of flavors you put out there, the more it will pick up in larger marketplaces.
If I was gonna have a drink though.
Yes, if we were gonna have a beverage.
With our salmon or chocolate.
Black Bay GMT is back with the Pepsi bezel, but white dial.
Don't say white.
Oh, excuse me.
Boy, snap, it's opaline.
Opaline. So with an opaline dial, and of course on a fabric strap matching the Pepsi tones of the bezel or on the rivet bracelet. Again, no thickness change there, same caliber, but you know, refreshing new opaline dial, not white.
Yes, and now look, I don't have the greatest memory, so there is one last thing to report, which is that many Tudors this year have received the METAS certification. So we actually see Tudor, interestingly, taking what is mostly known from the Omega stable as a equivalent to Rolex superlative chronometer. If you really want highly tuned, spec'd up watches, then there's a range of Black Bays that have METAS certification as well.
Yeah, and also the other quiet drop we have is last year, I'm sure many of you remember how I praised the Black Bay Steel and Gold for introducing the 5-link bracelet, not Jubilee, with the T-Fit clasp. And it looks like now we have that same range, but in full steel. So if two-tone is not your jive, well, you have stainless steel now at your disposal.
Awesome. That's it. That's a quick wrap.
Yeah.
Out of those ones, I'm 100% taking the 37 millimeter Black Bay. I did not think something that small would wear well. 46 lug to lug. And it looks so slim. It looks like it's sub 10 mil on the wrist. It is not because of a little trick, Zach.
Yeah, look, the sort of oyster style case back, it embeds itself into the wrist as you wear it, especially if you're like me and you wear it snug. So it sits much thinner than you would think on the wrist. So it's pseudo 11 millimeters thick. It's
11 something, and the extra little bits that you don't factor in with the eye because the case is so slim with the cambered lug is that we've got a domed crystal and a domed case back, which gives it more height. Don't look at the specs and think, hang on, that's too fat for me. Definitely not. Whew. Let's go have some salmon, chocolate, and soda.
Yeah, Pokeballs. Right? Let's go get some Pokeballs.
Actually, salmon, chocolate, and soda sounds gross. See ya.